Hey, everybody. Rex Bear League Project. How the heck are you? Beautiful day today out here in Southern Colorado. We have an awesome guest with us today. This man needs no introduction. Bob Gilpatrick, boomerboost.com. He's been into holistic health, nutrition, and I guess you could say healthcare for many years, decades actually, on the forefront of cutting nutrition. And he knows a lot about the MAHA movement and what's going on with RFK Jr. and what they're doing at the geopolitical as well as political level. And today we're going to talk about holistic health. We're going to talk about food and nutrition and a bit about what's going on right now with Maha and some of the latest products that Boomer Boost has. So, man, I'll tell you what, I've been taking Boomer Boost now, I think for 4 years, maybe about 4 years, and love it. Take it every single day unless I'm out. The formula, though, the new formula they just came out with is awesome. Like it went from tasting a little bit fish foody to delicious. So, folks, if you don't like the taste of some certain supplements out there, I think you'll really, really like the Boomer Boost. So try it once and tell me what you think. You're not going to regret it. Go to boomerboost.com, use the code REX20. You'll get an additional 20% off. There's also some great specials and deals right now at boomerboost.com. But what you want to do is you want to add the Boomer Boost and the Gladiator Barley, put those together, make those a part of your daily routine, and you will thank me later. Take on the 60-day challenge and let me know how you think. Bob, it's great to see you, man. How have you been?
I'm doing really well. Thank you, Rex. Glad
Awesome.
to see you doing well also.
Yeah, thank you.
Here we are. It's the month of June now. This 2025 is flying by.
It's been flying since I don't know, since 2018. It seems like CERN turned up the timeline. I know I'm just joking, but maybe not.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
been fast 7 years. But you just got back from Texas. You were at an awesome conference out there.
Yes, I was. It's a business mastermind.
Cool.
It's called the Board of Advisors. It's been around for 10 years.
Okay.
I was one of the original founders back 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And it started out with 13 people that were business owners. It was all men at that time. And now it's grown to over 100 people and lots of women that are business owners as well. And it's a place to get together and help each other with connections, ideas, support. Some people will have a brand new business idea or a project. They want investors. So some of the other members will invest money and then sit on a board of directors. And so it's kind of a group that helps move everybody up, with a collective effort.
Yeah, you've really gone leaps and bounds with that since you started. That's awesome to hear. That's really
Yeah, yeah,
nice.
lots of really great people.
I think you've done the same with Boomer Boost and Gladiator Barley and Myatrol and these awesome products. I had a gal reach out to me the other day and she said she wanted to know more about them. I think I actually sent you a screenshot on the phone when I texted you. She saw something online that was spelled a little bit different than Myatrol. And she's like, is this an imposter? And I said, yes, that's an imposter. But have you had people try and take your labels and stuff like that and kind of take what you've done as such an awesome holistic health and nutritionalist company and take your flame and try and put it on their own?
No, not exactly. I think probably what she came across was a product that was spelled with a D, Myadrol,
Yep, that's it.
and that existed. Somebody created a product called that around 10 years ago,
Oh, okay.
and it
Okay.
was basically some amino acids. Uh, it's not the it's not the same product at all. But we haven't had anybody try to knock off our products, but we have had people that have taken a lot of ideas from our website and incorporated it into their websites. So if you look at some of the big companies that you see advertised on television, they use the same strategies that we pioneered with the help of Tanner Larson and Matt Stafford from the company called Bill Grow Scale. They're really, really great, consultants in having the best website that can make it real easy for people to understand things and to get things, and also to, if they're on their auto ship program, to make it real easy to pause it if they need to, that kind of thing. And so we've seen a lot of the different things we develop imitated by others, and that's good. We don't mind that at all. If someone wants to buy some kind of a green drink, and we know it's not bad for them, so we're fine. We're fine with that.
That's
But
cool.
for the most part, the products that we have that are unique, Rex, are either way too hard for someone else to make, and they don't want to put in the effort and the money, or it's impossible. So, for example, for somebody else to make our Gladiator barley product, they just can't do it because it requires certain technologies that are closely held by one man in the world. And he's not telling other people what to do with, he's not revealing those technologies. And so you have that type of thing. And also with our Myotrol product, the same thing is true. It's created with technologies that are proprietary to that individual scientist. And so we don't know those technologies. We don't know exactly how they do it. But they've selected us to be their distributor, because as good as they are at being inventors, we're equally good at being distributors, providing phone support for people, having our own fulfillment center right here. So for example, if someone places an order on our website while they're watching me talk to you, that order is being processed 10 feet away from my office. And on a daily basis, I go in and meet with the fulfillment manager, check to see if there's any issues, there's special messages, all that kind of thing. So it's very tight and close. And then also our phone support is all local people that I have trained that are answering the phone. And so it's that type of thing that makes for a very high level distribution company like ours. And we also are able to advise people that call with various types of physical problems or mental and emotional problems. And we can guide them and assist them because of our years of experience. So the ladies that work for me are in their 60s and 70s. I am going to be 69 in a couple of months. So I've had, you know, not quite 50 years, but close to 50 years of experience as a nutritionist and a therapist. And so when people come to our company, they're coming to get our experience and our effort and our dedication, but they're also able to interface with the world's greatest nutritional scientists through our company. And so, for example, you can go on our website and you can watch a video of Eric Kurtz, who's the inventor of Myotrol. And and so you're not going to find him being interviewed anywhere else. And so if you go to the search bar, Rex, at the top of the screen, that little bar right there, and type in Myotrol, Myotrol. So this is what happens. You not only see the product, but you see the picture of Eric, and you can actually watch him, be interviewed, and you can read the whole transcript of the interview. And then next to that is another video of a person who doubled their strength in 2 months using Myotrol. And so this is the type of interaction you can have with the Boomer Boost website. It's comprehensive, and you also see there underneath that, you can see the guides for exercise, where people can learn to do stretch band exercises, chair exercises, calisthenics, etc. And then you can read advanced interviews by people that are very high level consultants in regard to in the area of muscle and fitness. And so once we have a product like Myotrol, which helps people gain muscle no matter what age they are, even a 100-year-old can gain muscle like they're 20 again. And so what people see is, okay, here's this great new product called Myotrol. Well, here's the whole background about it because we got an interview with the inventor, and here's the testimonials, which there's hundreds, and here's all the information you could possibly want about why it's so important to maintain your muscle as you age and what's going to happen to you if you don't, and how now using super advanced new science, similar to SpaceX type of science, is how it's available now, and how to get it and use it for yourself. And it's a portal really to the ultra advanced science in the nutraceutical world, similar to if you are going to YouTube to learn about rocket science, you can learn all kinds of stuff about rocket science. Well, you want to learn the rocket science of nutrition, you come over to Boomer Boost, and that's where you find it.
And I'll tell you what, man, the Boomer Boost and Gladiator Barley certainly is the rocket science of nutrition, man. This stuff is amazing. And the new flavor on the Boomer Boost is like, it's really good. It doesn't taste like a green drink. It tastes good. It almost has a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's monk fruit in it that makes it taste sweet. So Boomer Boost is an engineered product, right? So it's not barley grass product. It was specifically engineered with essential nutrients in very specific ratios, so they all work synergistically together to help people with overall health, but particularly circulation and heart health. Heart disease is still the single biggest killer in the world, and people can get all kinds of problems with their hearts, and particularly the strength of their heart. And if your heart starts getting weak, you're eventually going to die from heart failure. And but taking Boomer Boost, you don't need to have that happen. Your heart getting very weak is from a lack of the proper nutrients and exercise. And when you take Boomer Boost, we already know all the nutrients that your heart needs, and it's all in there. So all of a sudden, your heart muscle starts to get stronger, and now you have more energy, and you start moving around more. Whether it's just walking more, or instead of taking your car to the store that's a quarter of a mile down the road, you'll feel like walking down there, getting some sun, feeling good. People that might have been homebound from old age will get up and about and start leaving the house again, going to the gym. Even in their 90s, we have a woman, 97 years old, who witnessed her son, who was getting very old, who was very frail. They both were very frail. And he started taking Boomer Boost and barley, and he started going out for walks. And next thing you know, he could walk uphill around the corner. He started jogging. He started going to the gym. And then his mom was like, hey, can I try some of that stuff? And the same thing happened for her. And she was able to leave the house, and she goes to the gym with her son at the age of 98. And her favorite thing is Zumba classes.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And so this is what happens when people are able to take advantage of this new science of holistic nutrition, which includes, of course, paying attention to the food that you eat. It's very easy to get sick from eating foods with a lot of seed oil, a lot of sugar, a lot of pesticides. And it's also easy to get sick if you cook your food incorrectly. And so part of, holistic health is knowing enough about foods, which ones are good for you, which ones aren't, and being able to, follow along. And that's a lot of what you see with the Make America Healthy project, Rex. Not in its entirety, but a good portion of it is RFK Jr. doing something about the fact that our country is dominated by crappy food. And so he's starting to make it, illegal to have certain dyes in the food. He's changing the way that school lunches are going to be configured, getting rid of foods with seed oils and a lot of sugar, and beginning to educate the American public about this. But, in addition, he came out with this whole big report a couple of weeks ago, this scathing on initial report that his commission, which President Trump created, this commission, and RFK chaired it. There's a lot of people on the commission. They came out with a report going through item by item by item all the things that were a problem with the health of the country. Overprescribing medications for children for things like ADHD and depression was identified. The seed oils and sugars. And they went through all those different things. And then they said that come September, they're going to have an equally in-depth report, which is going to be their recommendations and solutions to begin to address and fix these broad-based problems we've suffered with in our country for so long.
In my opinion, this is what happens when corporations, greedy corporations, take over the nutrition and the food supply, basically, or a large portion of the food supply. It amazes me how many chemicals and additives can be allowed in the foods here in the States that aren't allowed overseas. And then oftentimes you bring that up to people and they smirk it off. They look at you like you're a fool. Even like you're genuinely trying to help people, and not all the time. And it's gotten a lot better. But just a few years ago, man, you could talk to somebody you think would be pretty darn smart. And because of the official statement by the official governing bodies of whatever is the, for example, how many foods have food dyes in them that it's considered safe because this organization, this governing body said it was safe. Well, who was funding that governing body in the first place to say it was safe? I mean, come on. Half the world says no, but it's okay here at home. It's like, it's almost like personal to me. I take it personal. And I probably should, but I do. It pisses me off.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I got to laugh it off though. But
the good thing is Rex, is nobody really has to wait for RFK's set of recommendations. That's for the global issue of the food companies, the drug companies, etc. That's what they're attacking. But anybody that pays attention to something like the Leak Project can easily learn that seed oils are really bad for you, and eating too much sugar is really bad for you. Overcooking your meat, if you're going to cook a hamburger or steak or chicken, if you cook it over 300 degrees, it better have some liquid with it, or you're going to create it you're going to cook it into a massive toxin, which is going to cause cancer ultimately. And so these are the things that people can do right now, can understand right now, and also understand just enough about the human body to know what it is we need to feed ourselves with, not just good food, but also the right nutrients, because it's very hard, even with the best of food, to get all the nutrition that you need. But then also how to feed yourself with positive emotions, how to create positive emotions through your mindset and strategies and techniques for releasing pent-up trauma situations, or thought patterns that won't leave you, that where you dwell on things. But now we have, just like we have advanced nutrition, we have advanced mental health and habit management techniques that can quickly and easily begin to change the way that your emotions are flooding your brain and your body. And so all those things, we can talk a little bit about here today. So when we're finished talking, people have some really good takeaways of things they can do, not only for themselves, but for for their families. And I met with a person the other day who I would have thought would would have had a certain aspect of her life really well together, because she was a therapist and a spiritual teacher and like this. And but it wasn't the case. There was a particular issue, an emotional issue that she was still bothered with, that had been bothering her since she was a child. And now she's in her 60s. And I had to remind her, well, listen, you can use the emotional freedom technique, or you can use Havening to fix this problem, like right now, this minute, right? And we had talked about, the meeting I was at in Texas. That happened at that meeting. There was a lady there in her late 60s and had an issue that I won't really go into, but I can tell you this: just sitting with her 4 or 5 minutes and teaching her how to do havening and showing her the phrase to use, it shifted her life dramatically and instantly, all at once. And she was flabbergasted. She was floored that, having struggled with this intense emotional issue for years, that with the right technique, it could be fixed in 5 minutes. And but that is the case. And so it's the case not only with modifying your diet, but it's the case with getting really good advanced nutrition. And it's the case with having really good advanced emotional management techniques. And the more that the world appears to be chaotic, the more important it is to know how to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And please share that
Uh,
information with us if you would.
Yeah, so in regard to the nutrition side, this is really super important. We are essentially, Rex, we're a nervous system. We're a brain that has a spinal cord and peripheral nerves. And, and we also have different types of nerves in our heart muscle that communicate with our brain. And we have enteric nerves in our intestines that communicate with our brain. And and then we have all different types of biochemical communications that start in our gut and move up into our brain. But essentially, we're a nervous system with a whole bunch of support systems. So our skin is for keeping, bacteria out of our body. Our skin is for absorbing sunlight and converting it into vitamin D and into cholesterol and pregnenolone and ultimately all of our other hormones. And our bones are giving structure to us so that we can move around, use our hands and walk and do things. And our internal organs are also support systems. Our liver and kidneys help detoxify our bodies. Our digestive system brings in energy and nutrients so that those nutrients can go into your bloodstream and support your nerves. And the whole system is kind of designed to support our nerves. And if you look at the majority of our conscious self is that nervous system. And so we need to know how to maintain its protection, but not only that, but to support its function, to support your brain function. How do you actually make neurotransmitters, right? And how do you actually facilitate the good circulation of blood into your brain so you have enough oxygen in your brain, you have enough nutrients in order to make energy in your brain? And how do your eyes actually work in order to absorb light and convert it into electricity in your brain? And which nutrients do you need that actually are in your eyes in order to facilitate that transducing of photons into electrons? And so when we look at this basis as a human body that allows us to have consciousness, so we have consciousness that's allowed to reside in ourselves and around ourselves. It's from this elaborate human system that we have. And so one of the really fun things to do as a nutritionist and a scientist is to understand as much as possible and to deploy the very, very highest technologies that will help facilitate having a high functioning superhuman type of experience. And so in order to do that, you have to know what you need to take in. And so when you look at Boomer Boost and Barley, for example, Rex, that's not just two random products that happen to work well together. They were specifically engineered to do certain things. And we were the company that had knowledge of both of those products. And, and we were the only people in the world that had knowledge of these products. And so as soon as we saw, we were like, oh my God, if you put those two things together, it's going to be like nothing anybody's ever seen before. And it turned out that we were right. And so the reason that happened is the barley product that we have is sprouted seeds from an ancient seed line from the time of the gladiators. And it's 400 times stronger than the average green drink that you would drink. And that's why you have to take it in such tiny amounts when you first get it, so it doesn't hurt you because it's too strong. And one of the things it does is it cleanses your small intestine. And as you age, your small intestine, which has mucus in it, that mucus turns to a plaque as you age, and it smothers over the little hairs called villi that absorb your nutrients. And so you become malnourished as you age, even if you're eating really good food. And so there's a compound in the barley that actually dissolves that plaque and moves it out of your body. And those villi regrow. And a person of any age can restore their capability to absorb nutrients as if they were a 20-year-old. And then there are 4,000 additional bioactive compounds in that barley, metabolic enzymes, amino acids, minerals, etc. And then in addition, when you add the Boomer Boost, which was specifically engineered to be a comprehensive type nutrition, it all gets absorbed because you're using the barley. And that's the only reason it's affordable, Rex. The average person is going to absorb 15 to 20% of their nutrients when they're 50 years old, right? So think about it, 15 versus 100. You would have to take 5 times as much Boomer Boost in order to get the right amount of nutrition absorbed if you didn't have the barley. And it would cost you $500 a month or more in order to get that nutrition. Would it be worth it? Yeah, but would you rather get it for less than 100 and use it with barley?
Hello.
Absolutely, of course. And so those are some of the things you need to know. It's you need the amino acids, you need fatty acids, you need low glycemic index carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, polyphenols, and specialty nutrients like coenzyme Q10, trimethylglycine, which helps to break up homocysteine, which causes heart failure, and on and on. And so there's numerous different nutrients in these products, each of which is very sophisticated. You know, if you were to try to explain why you need coenzyme Q10, it's a whole science lesson to explain that. And it's one of 4,000 nutrients that's in these two powders that you mix together in water and drink. And what happens is not only does your absorption of nutrients go way up, but your digestion is better, and also your circulation improves and your inflammation goes down. And so now you're delivering, because you have really good circulation, you're delivering all these nutrients and oxygen to your cells, including, guess what? Your nerve cells. Your nerve cells need all those nutrients. They need CoQ10. They need vitamins, minerals, amino acids, metabolic enzymes in order to function, and they need oxygen. And so, and your nerves, as they are firing, are helping facilitate circulation. And so when you look at somebody that has problems with circulation in their legs, say, it's usually because they've had nerve damage. And so the nerves are not firing, and so your capillaries are not opening and closing to let the blood through. And so then your nerves become deteriorated because they're not getting nutrition from the blood. So it's a vicious cycle. And so you have to increase people's nutrition in order to re-nourish their nerves, to revitalize them, so they can in turn help with your circulation. And so these are things to know about, holistic health, and things you need to know in order to live a life where you're not going through a progressive dispossession of your resources, your physical and mental resources as you age. Typical person, dies when they're in their 70s or 80s, and they go through a progression of illness before that happens. Sometimes lasts for 10 or 20 years, and their life's nowhere near as enjoyable as it could be if they were to be super healthy, until they're 85, 90, 95 years old. The oldest person that we've helped was 106. And so these are things to know. And this is a place at the LEAP project where people can not only learn about things like this, but can actually interface with us at Boomer Boost as a result. You can call our 800 number, you can go onto our website, you can stop by and visit. We're at 5401 Central Avenue in St. Petersburg, Florida. And if you call ahead to our 800 number, we'll make sure that if you're going to come to visit, it's at a time when I'm here personally to meet with you, which I've done many times over the 15 years we've been in business. I've met with hundreds of people here at my office. And in total, Rex, we've helped about 20,000 people with their health and wellness. And the other thing, Rex, is about, to nourish yourself. You want to nourish yourself with positive emotions, because you can have all the best nutrition in the world. But if you're really stressed out and unhappy, what good is it? And so you want to look at, and what exactly is it that you want? What are the positive emotions that you would like to experience? You'd probably like to experience love, to receive love and to give love. You probably are interested in having joy in your life. But it's easier said than done, because we live on planet Earth, and planet Earth's a very, very volatile place. There's hurricanes and tornadoes and all types of natural disasters, and it can get extremely hot. It can get extremely cold. And also, the worst of all of the things that happens are relational. There are people that murder other people. There are people that abuse other people. There are people that get married and divorced, and their family splits up, and it's hard on their children. These are very, very difficult aspects of living on our planet. But just like with advanced nutrition, and like Boomer Boost and Barley, people can learn to do havening. People can learn how to use the inner balance technique from the HeartMath Institute. They can learn to do the emotional freedom technique. And they can also get a lot of clarity. And one of the things that's very helpful, Rex, in regard to this side of life, the emotional side of life, is to do an exercise either by yourself or with somebody else, your spouse or your brother or sister or whatever. And you can start out by having one person ask the other, what are the most important things for you in your life? And you break it out into categories, and that one of them can be emotionally. What are the most important emotions you'd like to experience? And let's say somebody lists one of them as love. Then a follow-up question can be, well, what exactly would have to happen in order for you to feel loved, right? Well, now that might be different depending on if it's from your mom or dad, or or from your husband or wife, right? Or your children, right? And you can you can break it into categories and you can list those things. The most important thing would be if my mom told me that she loved me. Or another person might say, most important thing would be if my mom showed me that she loved me by doing this. And this can be a really great inventory to help people get clear. And then with each important other in your life, you can discuss these things and share back and forth. And uh, you can also identify things that are in the way, because a lot of times that love and respect and joy are right there all around you, but you've got something that you think is blocking you. The good news is nothing's really blocking you, because unless you consider thoughts things. And so you can examine your own thoughts. Well, what is my belief structure around this particular thing? Am I awfulizing something? Oh, this bad relationship with my sister because, one of us is this political persuasion and the other is this political persuasion. And now, whenever we talk, we fight. And so we just stop talking for years, right? So you can have issues like this that are blocking you and making you feel very tense and deprived, so to speak. And this is where things like havening and tapping work really well to unblock yourself from these belief structures that have developed over the years. And now you can allow for joyfulness to actually spread and manifest in your life, because whatever was keeping you from joy that was assembled through a thought process can be quickly and easily reframed, mitigated, eliminated, whatever you want to do with it. And just so people know, Rex, you want to learn how to do these techniques, you can go right to our website and you can type in the word havening, Havening, and you can learn to do that. You can even watch a 2-hour interview if you want with a woman who's an expert in havening. And you want to learn the emotional freedom technique, go to our podcasts and blog section, and you can go down to the emotional freedom technique area. So what people are looking there at, Rex, is the second one over that says what is havening the power of touch. So that right there is about a 20-minute presentation that will give people the complete overview of what havening is and how to do it. And the other ones are the interview with Hillary Russo, who's a holistic nutritionist and a havening expert. And I interviewed her for 2 hours one day with Raleigh, and we put it out as a podcast and a YouTube video. And then the other thing, Rex, is if you go back for a second to the home screen and look at where it says podcasts and blog, you can click that and go down to emotional freedom technique. And if you click that, you'll be able to see all these videos that help you learn how to do the emotional freedom technique. And you can learn this technique very, very easily and use it right away to help with everything from emotional issues all the way to helping with pain. And this is a technique that was created over 50 years ago by a renowned psychiatrist, and he kept it to himself for decades before he finally released it to a man named Gary Craig. And about 25 years ago, Gary Craig started teaching others in the world how to do this technique. And I've made many different videos for it to show people how to do it.
Let me jump in real quick because I just want to let the audience know how invaluable this information is. So Bob has spent, like you said, 50 years in research and practice and exercising these techniques and refining certain techniques. And so he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars learning all of this stuff, and he shares it for free on the website. So that's pretty dang cool. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, thank you, Rex. And I think that it's what we tried to do was make a website where people could go that would not give them everything they need, but give a good spectrum of products to make you healthy, and as well as techniques people can learn to stay healthy, to address stress, to address traumas, etc., so that they don't have to make the pursuit of happiness or the pursuit of the paradise of their own. We want people to be able to say, here I am on planet Earth. I'm going to create the paradise of my own choosing. And I'm going to then live it and feel it and share it with other people. And that's my contribution to the world. But in order to make that creation, you have to be free to be able to do it, and you have to be healthy to be able to do it. You have to have energy, stamina, you have to be able to move around, get up, sleep well, and be active. And you have to have the emotional stability, and you have to have the command of your emotions in order to feel like you're living in paradise, and then be able to share that with your friends, so that when they come into your presence, they feel your electromagnetic pulse from your heart, your pheromones coming off of your face, that they feel uplifted and that they feel comfortable being in your presence because you yourself have spent the time to be that type of person, as opposed to, the first thing you want to do when you see your friend is, well, what's going on? Oh, well, let me tell you, this happened and that, and oh my God, I got this ache and that pain, and I'm all stressed out and blah blah blah. It's like, oh, great, nice to see, it's been nice to see you, right? No, you want to have the technology, the ability, and the intention to elevate yourself with your health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, so that you can actually look at yourself from above and go, wow, this is cool. I'm here on planet Earth. There's so many amazing, great things about it. We have ancient petroglyphs inside hidden caves in Colorado, right? And it's like, there's so many cool things, but it's also very easy to get condensed, crushed, and debilitated by the planet as well. And so our intention was to be able to help ourselves and to help as many people as want this type of help, to be able to, on a day by day basis, feel happy, joyful, feel loved, and to feel super healthy, so they can go on hikes in the countryside to climb up the side of a mountain into a cave.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me ask you, Bob. So you've been doing this a while. What have you noticed over the past 50 years as far as health? Like, have you noticed the top three things that if that makes sense? Like, have you noticed people are overall looking for, how do I put this? Like, are they not sleeping as good? Are they obese? Are they complaining about heartburn? What are the top three things you would say over the past several decades that has become more of a, let's just call it an opportunity?
Yeah, so obesity and stress, probably the two biggest things that I've seen. And obesity starts nowadays when children are very young, and that's why RFK Jr. is so upset, because there's no reason for 50% of the children in the United States to be overweight. right? And it just leads to a lifetime of problems and debilitation. I mean, a child that's obese when they're young is highly, highly likely to get diabetes. And who wants to get diabetes? Your eyesight starts to go, right? People end up getting amputations from diabetes. Your kidneys go. You have to go on dialysis. My sister Amy died from diabetes when she was 31 years old. It was terrible, right? And she wasn't obese. She had type 1 diabetes. But why would we have half the children in the country be on the road to getting diabetes? And so we have to realize that where that's coming from, and that's what the Make America Healthy initiative is targeting. Why are kids eating these types of foods, and why aren't they getting any exercise, et cetera, et cetera? And then the other thing is stress. When I was growing up, in the 1960s, there wasn't anywhere near the amount of stress that there is now. Children have a lot more stress, a lot more expectation. They have social media with comparative observations with themselves to others. We had enough trouble with comparisons when we were kids growing up, right? But nothing like it is today. And so you have tremendous number of children that are on antidepressants or Ritalin for ADHD and that type of thing, almost half. And so you have to, we have to really examine what it is that our society is doing to create all of this stress, and how are children being taught to handle it, to deal with it. Do the parents know how to do the emotional freedom technique? Do they know how to teach their child to meditate? Do they know how to teach their child food habit management? What's in the refrigerator when the child comes home from school, right? Are they going to go and grab a soda pop, which is what's happening now, or not, right? And so those were the two biggest things that I've seen, Rex. And then it leads, of course, to many, many other things. Um, and then um, what when there's a weaponization of issues related to health in the world is hard enough naturally without people weaponizing things, all right, to make it harder. I mean, you look back to 2020, look how much more difficult the world became, right? And so that's another huge change. Manufactured crises, right, on purpose. And that's another thing that I think that the Make America Healthy Again movement will address. And to me, those are the three biggest things right there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And just folks, I'm going to tell you a personal story about myself. I don't know if you've been watching the project for a while, you probably already heard this, but I was one of the chubby kids growing up in school. I'm Gen X growing up, and I remember going to elementary school. I got made fun of, and there was only like one other kid there, it seems like, in my class that was overweight too. And I wasn't even like obese. I was just chubby. You know what I mean? And that wasn't normal back then. Now, if you're the skinny kid in school, that's the thing that's like, wow, why is that kid so skinny? It's just really interesting how much things have changed. And once again, my opinion of that is because you have such giant corporations that make so much money creating these foods as cheap as they can. They figure out ways to get people hooked on these foods, and they don't really care about the health consequences. They just care about the stock and the bottom line. Once again, it's my opinion, folks. You might have yours as well, but I look at how much things have changed over the past 30, 40 years as a whole. My mom's grandma, my great grandma, Grandma Nilsson, I saw a photo from when she was in high school, and it was a high school photo, and everybody in the picture looked healthy. They had, clean skin. I didn't, they were height, weight proportionate. They looked happy. They looked healthy. And I'm just like, wow, that's pretty dang cool. And you take a picture today at most high schools or most schools, and you're going to see a wide range of opportunities with people. And, half of them might be obese. So
Yep.
it's just, man, I really, really, I have some faith in RFK Jr. and I don't want to have too much faith because I don't want to be disappointed, but I'm sending him out good vibes, and everybody that wants to make the world healthy again, make America healthy again, God bless you, because we need you now more than ever. It's almost like Star Wars. We're fighting the evil empire, the dark lords out there, but they're like trying to shove genetically modified food down you. That's instead of a lightsaber, it's eat this genetically modified burger with 500 grams of fat and 38,000 grams of sugar. I'm exaggerating here, folks, but
You might as well.
I mean,
over time, that's what you're doing.
Here's another soda pop. Have an energy drink and a soda pop for breakfast. And then complain about the cost of nutrition as you spend $15 a day on sodas and energy drinks.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my rant. I just had to let it out. Bob's always calm and collected. Thanks for listening, Bob. I appreciate you. I noticed you've got an awesome sell right now on the heirloom barley. And do you have any other specials right now? If I go to boomerboost.com and I want
yeah, if you go to the sale page, Rex, you'll be able to see it's really a great time. This is a really great sale we have. So you can get both barleys, the Gladiator barley and the heirloom barley. You can do a buy one, get one half off.
Okay. I'm looking for where should I go? Should I go to?
Did you click on sale?
There we go. Boom. Got it. Oh, great. Okay.
So here's buy one, get one half off. And again, this is a one-off product, meaning you can't get it anywhere else in the world. It's a unique agricultural product that's 400 times stronger than regular green drinks. And this, at this price of buy one, get one half off, it's just amazing. And you can mix and match. You can get the heirloom barley, which has one profile of amino acids. Or if you want lots of amino acids because you want to gain muscle weight, you can get the Gladiator barley. But they both do all the other things of detoxing, etc. And so the next thing is, Rex, if you go down a little, these products are half off, okay? Even better. And so you're looking at our probiotics. This is a premium probiotic. Again, a one-off product, not made anywhere else in the world except by our supplier. And we're the only people that sell this. This is a very, very unique probiotic that even works for people that have no intestines, all right? No colon, not a small intestine. People have their small intestine, but if your colon's been removed, this probiotic actually works for you, all right? It was designed that way. And the other thing is, Rex, the flaxol lignans are also 50% off. This is a product that is made in a very unique way, and all the nutrients are in the wax that's on the outside of the shell of a flaxseed, and you have to knock that wax off in order to get enough lignans, which are polyphenols in that wax, in order to have an efficacious effect. And so lignans help people with menopause. It helps with breast cancer, prostate issues. It helps with bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety. It boosts your immune system. There's 27 different lignans in this product, all which does something a little bit different. You can sprinkle it on your food. You can mix it in water. Unbelievably healthy for you. And then the other one, Rex, is our olive leaf extract, which is similar. Olive leaf extract, if you look it up, it does like 300 different things. And it's been around for thousands of years, people using olive leaf for health. And this is an extract and concentrated, and you can take those pills, and it's just phenomenal for your immune system and your overall health. And then lastly, Rex, at the very bottom of that, there's a free product. If you spend $150 or more, we're going to give you some free barley. And so that heirloom barley is a canister that when you first start out, that will be a whole month's supply because you're easing into it. Otherwise, it's about a 2-week supply, or it's a travel pack, or something you can give as a gift. And you'll get it for free when you spend $150. And of course, you'll get free shipping with that as well.
Okay, and then they sign up for the I'm sorry to interrupt, just real quick, because I want to save people as much money as possible. They sign up for the auto ship and then they get an extra 10%.
Yeah, auto ship gives 10% off as well.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I'm talking about, man. When I get off when we finish this podcast, I'm going to place another order. So get some good deals.
Great.
Right on.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
So Bob, I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you also. So folks, I talk to Bob off air sometimes, and Bob's in an important meeting thousands of miles away. I text him. I'm like, hey, man, this is going on. And he immediately calls me back. So Bob, I love you, man. Thank you. You are a hero. Folks, also, Bob was helping people, like, remember September 2001? Like, remember that whole fiasco? He was on the front lines helping people out with that, and super honorable. You, like, some people talk a big game, some people walk a big game, and you're walking the talk, man. I appreciate you. I'm so glad we're friends. I'm so glad Randy connected us. I just talked to Randy yesterday, actually.
Oh, nice.
Randy's like, Rex, I know you're trying to stay out of politics, but I'm listening to your podcast, man, and we need you. So I'm like, right on, Randy. We'll talk. I like Randy. He's a great guy. It was so funny when I first met him. I met him at LeakCon in Denver back in like 2018. And the way that I met him, we met and I was kind of in a grumpy mood. So I kind of blew him off, you know? And then he's like, oh, that didn't go too well. But then I was thinking about I went back and I apologized to him. Like, dude, I'm sorry I was being an a-hole. It's good to meet you. And we built up a friendship since then. So yeah, Randy's cool, man. Rambling Randy. What a good guy. And I took him, he hiked with me up to Chimney Rock. So folks, just so you know, Randy was dealing with some health stuff. Randy got a hold of Bob. Bob helped him get fixed up. And he lives in Texas, so he's at lower elevation. He comes out here to Colorado to visit me. We hike up to Chimney Rock, which is high elevation, and it's one hell of a hike. If you start from, because when Chimney Rock is open, you can drive up to the part where you actually just walk up maybe a half mile. But we started at the bottom, so it was about a 6-mile hike at high elevation. Not being used to high elevation, if you get out to high elevation, you feel like you're going to get a headache sometimes. You don't have the energy. You're tired. You might be able to feel a little bit nauseated sometimes, just depending on who you are. He rocked it, man. He's a rock star, and he's still rocking it. So you did a good job with Randy, man. Thank you. And folks, a long time ago. So this is when Bob and I just started working together. I got some products. I had some Gladiator barley. And I remember I've said this testimony before, but my next door neighbor at the time, really nice lady. She told me that the doctor said that she wasn't going to be walking for very long and that she's going to have to get a cane and all this stuff. And she's really upset because she's really active with her husband. And so as I'm taking out the garbage, a week after I give her some Gladiator barley, I said, I just gave her the Gladiator barley because that's all that I had. I said, try this out for a week, try it out. Week later, I'm walking out, taking out the garbage with Kristen. And then she's like walking out, taking out the garbage. She's my next door neighbor. And she's like trying to catch up to me, I could tell. And she's like, hey, what's in that stuff? That's amazing. She goes, I don't know if it's what you said or the product. I'm like, trust me, it's the product. She's like, but I feel great. She didn't have a cane. So and that was like 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago. And I still see her out, her and her husband, Jay. They're always posting stuff on Facebook about where they go hiking and what they do and skiing and cross-country skiing. She's in her late 60s, I think, as well. And so that's just rad, man. That's the kind of stuff that I got goosebumps thinking about it. I love it.
Cool, man. Well, tell her about the Myotrol. It'll blow her mind.
Ooh, you're right. Okay. Deal. Thank you for the reminder. Absolutely, I will. Awesome. Well, Bob, anything else you want to share this before we finish this up?
No, I think that's about it for today, Rex. Thanks you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for being here with us. I hope you have an excellent day. Be excellent to each other. And remember, be the change you want to see. It starts with you. No.